I gotta address something. Gary May, Chancellor of UC Davis, and guy who's got an unfortunate name because it rhymes with so much, like fucking Harry Play. Yikes! He's got a name that was bred for protesters to chant, so I guess what's going on right now is pretty good for him because his name is finally utilized to its full potential. Imagine this conversation. May you please stop being complicit in genocide? He might say something like, maybe I don't want to. Listen, I'm getting carried away, but perhaps so is Gary himself getting carried away, but with puns, no. With complicity, ooh. Gary has been criticized mightily for being complicit in this ongoing Israeli genocide on Palestinians. People often use his involvement with Leidos as an example of his complicity. Leidos, which is another really tempting name, but I'm a better person than that, is an engineering and defense firm that manufactures weapon systems and technology. And Gary, seen here graduating Smile School in real time, gosh, look at those things, has had his very own Leidos board seats in 2015. However, Gary on many climbs has claimed, no, Leidos is not involved, so thus, neither is he. He also has many times claimed that his board seat is a mere example of thought leadership, the definition and description of which I am very unclear. But what is the truth? Is my Gary a war profiteer like people say? What is going on? Is there a reason he looks like a wax figure in this photo? Did they make a clay mold of him for that specific photo? I don't know what the answers to any of these questions are. In fact, who is to answer any of these questions? Well, other people already did, but I wrote them all down here, so I should get some credit. If you're new to the military-industrial complex, welcome. Unfortunately, though, you probably never heard of Leidos. And if you check their website, you probably think they just sell purple. Nailed that one. They do say they're dealing with the world's most vexing challenges, which honestly, that sounds fucking hard. I couldn't do it. I'm glad someone's on that. In fact, they're on a bunch of stuff, most of which I really don't give a fuck about at all. What I do care about are their ventures into weapons systems and surveillance, which they don't mention on their website, strangely, because it isn't a vague statement next to an old guy in glasses. They have a lot of that. But since a billion-dollar defense company didn't clearly lay out for me exactly what they actually do, which honestly shocked me because what's the fucking point of the website? It also made me a bit frustrated because now I gotta find out all this fucking shit myself. After a tad bit of research, I found out that Leidos actually has a $7.9 billion deal with the US Army, and we know those guys are good, so perfect. And they're doing some crazy shit with lasers. But students outraged about the ongoing genocide are claiming that Leidos is involved with Israel. Sounds like those kids are lying. Source, please? Okay, you got me. Lock me up, cancel me. You found one affiliation with Israel. Luckily, since Gary, the self-considered pacifist, is on the board, if they were associated with genocide, he would not let that slide. I know this. Plus, he's employed this incredible tactic when asked about the genocide and his involvement, where he can pretty much just... So, on December 1st, 2023, in response to the controversy surrounding his position, the Chancellor's Leadership Council, who do many things, but primarily they counsel the Chancellor on leadership, put out a statement. They said that Gary spoke of the CEO of Leidos, pictured here jerking it below frame. Nailed that one. Thomas A. Bell. He assured Gary that Leidos does not provide weapons that are used by Israel in its war with Hamas. From that sentence alone, I can tell you that this guy's opinion will probably hold up. I mean, what a sentence. And honestly, why would this old, bald, white CEO of a defense company have any reason to misrepresent a geopolitical situation? I certainly can't think any. Now, while I do appreciate that Gary and his ragtag leadership team dedicated 14 words to what's going on in Gaza, don't be mad, they could have done it in 5. Leidos not give weapons to Israel? Boom! 14's like way longer than 5. It's like 6 longer than 5. And while I also do love that they are keeping shit simple in times of genocide, glad they're doing that, the language does seem oddly specific. However, I am inclined to believe a billion-dollar defense manufacturing corporation. I am. So far, we have a ton of evidence pointing to Leidos not being involved. Like, them saying we didn't do this, and... Well, that's it, but lay off these guys. They can't catch a break. Unless you include a tax break, but don't do that. Why would you do that? Okay, so So no weapons to Israel. What do these guys do? Well, Leidos has supplied Israel with screening and surveillance technology to non-consensually monitor, shepherd, and track movements of Palestinians through occupied territory and military checkpoints. Oh, that doesn't sound great, but at least Tom Bell was right. Pictured here again, jerking it, sitting down this time. His cameraman's his wife. That's why he can get away with all this. She's okay with it. Again, he was right. They don't supply Israel with any weapons for the specific genocide. They just supplied the IDF with tools like SafeU and Provision body scanners, which aid in Israel's brutal occupation of Palestine. If I may add, brutal. So Gary, you freed this whole war profiteer thing. Unshackle him, guys. He's an occupation profiteer. Probably moves a huge weight off your shoulders if there was any there in the first place. And we're done. We can be done with all this. That's it. That's all they do. Occupation. Okay, big deal. Whoop-de-doo, am I right? Okay, yeah, they may have built a data center. Okay. Yeah, it was a huge data center. But come on. Who among us hasn't built the odd multi-armed data center in Israel? That part's a little bad. But before Leidos, Israel had outdated data storage. What were they supposed to do? Hold a bidding war for a new data center? Good question. That's what they did do. Leidos won. They won it all. Yes. They're going to make so much money, and all that money is going to trickle down. It always trickles down. That's a win. That's a win for me. It's a win for you too. It's going to come to us eventually. Eventually it will. Now, I know what you're thinking. Did Gary May reap the profits of this new deal with Israel? Your mind's in the right place. Hopefully not. Hopefully I'll never have to come back to this again. The crown jewel of this newly constructed IDF data center is called the Fortress of David and became operational in 2020. It is the first multi-armed data center the IDF has ever had, courtesy of Leidos. And these guys are proud of it too. They always talk about making the desert boom. Freudian slip. But as you and I both know, data isn't related to war. It's related to like internet stuff, like porn. They probably just hold so much porn, copious amounts of porn, right? Yeah, the IDF does say that Leidos' Fortress of David systems are the most operational systems in the entire IDF. And yeah, it does say that through the Fortress of David, they run the core operational processes of the IDF. And yeah, it does say that they include fire, intelligence, command, and control. But people always assume it's fires and fire missiles, intelligence as in finding people to fire missiles, that command as in commanding missiles to fire, and controls and controlling the systems that fire the missiles. But what are you going to do? You can't automatically consume that. There's no way of confirming that. And let's give the occupational military the benefit of the doubt, why don't we? We never do that. We used to, but we never do that anymore. Let's let them explain. Let them explain what this data center does. Look, great. They go on to explain that this base will allow the IDF to produce more intelligence, to produce more targets, and increase the offensive capability of the IDF, which is a major issue that the IDF have placed in their multi-year plan. First of all, from this quote, I can tell that they love their own name. And people automatically think that more targets and multi-year plan is referring to murdering people. But okay, maybe it's a little bit more than porn. And you know what? It can actually walk from the military base in which the Fortress of David resides to the Leidos offices in Israel, which would be very convenient for a set of Israeli twins who work in either one, but I can't prove that's why they're built like that. So the IDF does do some more stuff with Leidos' data. However, every country needs data for their military, and I know that the IDF doesn't have the best track record. In fact, people say it's the worst. However, and this is my second however, they probably don't do horrible war crimes with this data. What was that? Can we fire this guy? Do we have the ability to fire people? Can we fire our graphics guy? Okay, I guess I have to tell you that technically Mike is right. And I do regret to inform you that for the first time, artificial intelligence is on the battlefield. And Experts forecast that this is only the beginning, which is great. I've always said we need more AI on the battlefield. That's where it should be. It always works out when we have robots make decisions that kill people. Has no one in the IDF ever watched a single movie? They're really good. We put them on big screens. They're easy to see. I wonder what else AI experts think of AI during war. I mean, they say that AI algorithms are notoriously flawed with high error rates observed across applications that require precision, accuracy, and safety. That's great. We don't need missiles with precision, accuracy, and safety. Throw that shit out the window. I guess it defeats the whole purpose of a missile. Well, maybe. When the IDF utilizes it, AI is used with extreme precision, accuracy, and safety. I mean, it's not like they have AI missiles that could select targets at their own discretion and fire themselves with little to no human oversight. That would implicate Linos in this genocide, and Tom told me they didn't do it. It is good, which is the word I'm using, that we have our own AI expert to explain this whole misunderstanding away. Bring him in. What the fuck? Who the fuck are you?
I'm Julio Laus, the AI expert.
Oh my God. I don't like the way he looks. Jesus Christ. Look at him. Get him out of here. Push him out. Fucking push him out. Get him out. Get him away somehow. Just put him out of here. Who the fuck was... Don't we have a team that vets these people? I hated how that guy looked. He had no redeeming features. Someone give me his lines. I'll read his lines. Someone give me his lines. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see what kind of research this guy did. Okay. The IDF employs two main AI systems, Lavender and Habzora, or the Gospel. Lavender is an AI system that generates individual targets using artificial intelligence to determine how likely they are to be a member of a militant group. Okay, here, let's see. This system takes on a previously held role by military officers and reportedly works 50 times faster and plays an unprecedented role in the bombing of Palestinians. Oh my God, what the fuck? Reportedly within the Israeli army, these decisions are treated as if they were human ones. Oh my God, more robot decisions? In the early stages of the genocide, the army gave sweeping approval for the officers to adapt Lavender's kill lists with no requirement to thoroughly check why the machine made these decisions. Oh, God. This was despite knowing that the system makes errors in about 10% of cases, often marking individuals who have loose or no connections to militant groups and murdering them. Whoops. I don't... Okay. The Israeli army... here we go. Okay. The Israeli army actually preferred to bomb these targets when they return home as a first option. When they're home, like with their families, which they called the Where's Daddy system. The system was designated to mark these targets when they returned home, since it is much easier to bomb a family's home. Okay, he put that one in quotes, and I'm really hoping that it was an accident, because I'm really hoping that nobody said that. This protocol led to the deaths of thousands of Palestinians who were no way involved in the fighting. These AI systems are able to predict the approximate amount of civilian deaths an airstrike will incur. And in an unprecedented move, the IDF have allowed up for 100 civilian deaths to eliminate one senior Hamas member. That seems like a little bit of an extreme ratio, right? I mean, could that be worth it? All right. I'm starting to think a little bit that Tom Bell might have been wrong about his Israel is in a war with Hamas statement. This doesn't seem like a war. This doesn't seem fair. Yeah, okay. Oh, God. Okay, well, it is seeming to me a little as if Israel actually knows exactly what it's doing, and they're hiding under the thin veil of Hamas to systematically kill Palestinian civilians and infrastructure. So, despite my previously unwavering trust of CEOs, corporations, and Thomas Bell, they might be misleading me. So bad. I don't want to do the piece anymore. I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. Okay. I am developing this new theory, okay? I put my trust into old rich bald guys. Yeah. Granted, it didn't work out the first time, but why not give it a second try? I know someone else who's old, rich, and bald. Okay, picture this. I'm in a deep pit, and Gary has a my pit-sized ladder, and he's gonna pull me out. I know he is. Gary May claims that it's crazy to assert Lighthouse profits off war because they stem from a company that historically has done well in times of war and peace, which doesn't really make any sense if you think about it too much. Can't they still profit off war if they also profit off peace? Are those things mutually exclusive? It's clear that Gary May doesn't want us to think about this too hard, so don't. I don't. I believe Gary May is right. Are you surprised I said that? I've been on his side the entire time. I love him. He reminds me of Tom, whom I miss. And I was shocked when I found out he was a bad guy. And he reminds me of a guy who could be a really good dad. I don't even want to mention how a single share of Leidos stock on October 6th, right before the genocide, was $90.98, and months into the genocide, on February 21st, their stock rose 37% to $124.49. I don't want to talk about that. Don't ask me if that's an example of them directly profiting off war, because I technically would have to say yes. And I also don't want to talk about how Gary had to make sure he cashed out before there was a ceasefire and he missed his window. However, as we all know, there was no ceasefire. So thankfully, Gary's money is safe, and these are the sort of things you got to thank God for. There's a reason for divine belief, and it's so the chancellor of my public university can really milk this whole human rights thing right from the teat. Yeah. Gary May thought it'd be best to cash out in February. Can you blame him? Specifically on the 21st, which is the exact day Leidos completed his 37% jump, which is so weird. And I'm not going to read into it. Don't ask me to. Sure, he did sell 2,745 shares of his stock, netting a total of $345,721 and making a $91,984 profit. But don't ask me if that's him profiting off war, because again, I'll have to say yes. I really don't want to. Gary, I really believed you. I really believed you didn't do this. Well, not really, but I thought you'd make it harder to find. I can read numbers. I'm getting a really good education here. I guess I might as well mention that, as listed on the U.S. SEC Commission's website, he still has around $3.6 million in Leidos stock, and currently in the month of May, Leidos stock is around $150 per share, which is another major bump since the events of October 7th. So yeah, Gary's making a ton of money, but give him a break. He doesn't make the decisions. He's on the board for thought leadership. Where would all the thought go without his guidance? It'd be on the loose. We can't have the thought on the loose. Okay. This is super hard to understand. Maybe he needs the money. Does he need the money? Has he misplaced all his money? It's probably not under the couch, because then the couch would be in the air. He's done pretty well for himself. But it is possible now that the only money he has left to sustain himself is his $3.5 million in stock from a defense contracting company. And if that's the case, Gary, if that's what's going on, just ask for help. I have unlimited dining hall swipes on weekdays. But if he doesn't need the money, then why is he still on the board? Because he's good at engineering? Why can't he engineer a single fucking hill on this entire campus? I can see everything standing still, and it really freaks me out. I don't know what to think anymore. At this point, I'm just so distraught. I don't know who to believe at all. On the one hand, there are public records saying that Leidos made this data center, which is crucial to the systematic genocide of Palestinians. And on the same hand, they clearly profit off it. And also on that hand, Gary may profit off it because he sold his stock 4 months into it when it rose 37%. But on the other hand, they told me they didn't do this. And yeah, that hand's smaller. Yeah, it's smaller, but it's there. I think that's really important. We need to see this issue from both sides. That's what we're missing. Tom has rights too. They keep trying to cancel him. I'm telling you, his wife knows he jerks off during his headshots. She's a camera person. She's okay with it. She's honestly pretty indifferent to it, honestly. Gary May can't just leave. He's crucial to the school. There's no school without him. I don't know. I'm just so lost. Maybe I can learn from history. That's what I'm being taught here. The last chancellor was involved in a similar controversy surrounding her positions on boards. She was on the board of DeVry and the board of a textbook company. And as you can see, she resigned. She resigned? Well, there was an LA Times article written about this. There was public outcry for her to step down. And then she listened. She listened to the students? That's crazy. They're not supposed to do that. That's not what they normally do. She gave $200,000 she made from the board to scholarships for students. Granted, not that much, but she did something. She also apologized. She didn't condescendingly tell me about how her board seat was an example of thought leadership and about how she's so smart for being on it. Can they just do that? Can they just resign? Okay, you're telling me if Gary resigns or leaves his board seat, the school will still exist? In fact, if he resigns or leaves his board seat, he may actually be a transparent pacifist. 2 things he says he is, but I ask you, is he those things? No, he's not. Not right now, no. I think I have the answer, Gary. Leave your board seat. Or if you need the $3.6 million, resign. Leave the school. Did he lie about Leidos supplying weapons to specific genocide? Technically, no. Did he leave out the fact that they supply tools to the IDF to aid in their occupation and supply crucial data centers that run AI systems that are so disgustingly harmful? I tried to bring in Julio Laus to explain them to you. When the student population was outraged about Leidos and its involvement in this genocide, we didn't need you to explain to us that is what the board seat means, or we didn't need you to explain to us that we're wrong, they don't give weapons. We wanted transparency. Why do I have to get Julio Laus to bring me any transparency? And why does he look like that? He doesn't need glasses. We wanted any divestment from anything that's at all involved in this. When students call for a divestment of South African apartheid, they call for a boycott and divestment of all industries that had anything to do with South Africa. That's one of the only ways we as students have any control. Divestment is apparently one of capitalism's supposed benefits. We have the freedom of choice, and we can choose not to give money to corporations or countries that are doing something cruel and wrong. That's what we're asking. Stop hiding behind the fact that Leidos didn't make the exact bombs dropped in Gaza. It's that they're helping the IDF at all, which they clearly are. These data centers are instrumental in committing the genocide of tens of thousands of Palestinians, not to mention they make the exact tools that aid in their occupation. There is no class of 2024 in Gaza. There's no fucking universities left. That should ring a little bell up there. You're a university chancellor. These are the things you're supposed to care about. Gary, trust me. We'll believe that you're really smart and can do thought leadership, whatever the fuck that means. But can't you do all that without being involved in profiting off a company that is crucial in allowing Israel to conduct an entire genocide and occupation?